Hi guys, and welcome back. This is Al Aravallo for Altruistic Channel, and what this little particular snippet is going to be about is kind of the concept behind the collective consciousness and what we kind of stand for. So with the collective consciousness, as you can read in the book The Moon King with No Kingdom on Amazon, which I wrote based on my personal experience with the ascension process and with the awakening, it came across to me originally as something very much based in the New Age type of thing, until I was actually faced with my own consequence for the darker side of my own personality and my soul. And so as I came into spirituality, I had gone through quite a bit of turmoil with the religious order or the religious organization structure, specifically because I find it to have been very, very divisive and a tool used more as a weapon more than than something that would help us. And so I was struggling, kind of free falling in my own path. But what I found interesting is that when you step into the spiritual nature to who you are, it kind of is regardless of whatever your obstacles have been or what your life has been up until that point. Whatever those conglomerate things were, ended up with you walking onto your path of fulfillment. And so for me, personally speaking, it was the collective consciousness because I found myself tapped into something that I couldn't necessarily explain. And as a man of logic and reasoning, it was very stressful at first because I couldn't rationalize parts of it, because it was something that when you when you get awakened, you actually tap into it quite quickly, and you don't understand how it happens because of the nature behind what we are limited in seeing. And so as you start to encounter things that become more out of your control, you start to realize that in truth there is a divine spirit to all things. And so you start to look at what you can believe in as opposed to what you can't. And so during that process, that's how I joined the collective consciousness, is because I realized that on a basic scale, every human being, whether you believe in God or not, has faith in something, a faith-based principle that keeps them going. It's what explains hope and what explains your rational to keep going. So what I wanted to do when I created the channel was I wanted to take on quite a bit. I wanted to heal the planet by essentially healing humanity through what bonds us. And though that sounds very, very naive to some degree, it's actually very much based on my experience. And if anybody knows me, you know that I'm quite accomplished in making sure that what I want is what I get, because it's not about me, it's about us. So essentially what happened is I realized that our planet was in crisis, and so was humanity. We're at a point where we can't speak to each other anymore. Everything's very based in politics and religion, and two very divisive things. And so the only way to get through that, sorry, there's an alarm going off, which is kind of indicative, it's kind of a sign. Alarm, red warning, red warning. But essentially what it was is that I realized that we needed to step up to figure out what we were going to be doing. And specifically, we needed to figure out how to accomplish the unimaginable, right? Like how to save a planet with a bunch of people who are still walking around going, there's no problem. Well, yeah, we're done talking about that. This channel is dedicated to the people who are above and beyond that, who have gone, okay, I see the clarity here with the car alarm stopping finally. That see clarity, and we're willing to work and put our money where our mouth is and start working to collectively focus on the things that really, really matter, and that is humanity as a whole and the need to save the planet. And so that's where this came from. So as I wrote the book, I decided that I was going to focus on the grander aspects of it that were underlying all people. And so that's the pathway I find to be true for us to bond us in the success of our mission, which I believe we will accomplish. It's not beyond the supernatural to believe in oneself. We've been doing it since dawn of time. God is with us at all times, whatever your God is. But the one thing that they will all agree on, no matter what your denomination is the fact that we need to band together and believe in a higher purpose. And when we touch into that and tap into the collective, which is all of humanity, we can best represent what to do next. And with all those minds, think about it, with all those minds focused on one thing or two things, think about the difference we can make. And think of it like an initiation, if you will. An initiation into something grander than us that may open the doorways, let's say, for seers or psychics or people who are healers to come into their own sense of self, because that is a grand design issue. That is something that God would give us for doing the work. And so that's what I speak to in The Moon King with No Kingdom on Amazon, is the fact that I speak to you stepping up to your mission, which is to be a fulfilled human being that is in the same alignment with its soul purpose. Those are, it's the mind, body, and soul for a reason. All three need to learn how to walk in the same manner and walk towards one direction at one time. And then you tap into the collective, which is the grander design, and you speak into the God energy. And then from that, you create the future that you want to manifest. And that's kind of the process that I see before us. And so I welcome you guys to that opportunity. This channel is dedicated to nothing but that. I don't care what denomination you are, because it's not a religion. The collective consciousness is welcoming to all faiths. It's just about having faith in yourself and faith in humanity and having hope for a future. And that's it for Al and Altruistic Channels. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. And you will see a lot more on the channel as we go forth. I might change my shirt, though. Anyway, have a good day.